So, guys, welcome once again to another episode, a live episode of Scott Talks Law. So, in this episode, we are going to talk about private international law and we're going to talk about choice of law rules. So, private international law is the law that is concerned with the settling of disputes that are private in nature and that have foreign elements in them. So, these disputes must have foreign element in that they must have emanated from a different country and they are being subjected to a country or maybe a domestic country that is to be determined or come up with solution to that particular dispute. So they are private in nature in that they are dispute that involves issues like tort, issues like enforcement of contract, issues like succession, issues of marriage and family matters like divorce, and they're just disputes that are generally private in nature. You know those kind of disputes. So choice of in this episode we're going to talk about choice of law rules. We're going to do a definition of choice of law. We're going to talk about domicile, the types of domicile, and just talk about domicile. We are going also to talk about the choice of law rules in regards to the enforcement of contract and choice of law rules in regards to tort. So choice of law rules is whereby a country, a domestic country, has been subjected with a dispute that has foreign element or has emanated from a different country. So this domestic country will go and look at their legal systems and look at their laws to determine if they are in the position to come up with the solution to that particular dispute. If they are for our convenience or if they are not for our convenience, if they are for our convenience, then they refer the issue to where it has emanated, to the foreign court or a foreign jurisdiction. So the court look at their laws. We look at the laws. Do they have the power to come up with solution or to solve that dispute amicably to ensure justice to the parties? If they are not in that position, they will refer the dispute to the foreign court, to a different jurisdiction or a different country. So the court, the domestic court, in coming up with that or being guided using this choice of laws, will use connecting factors. And connecting factors, these are links. These are links. These are things that link persons. These are things that link events and transactions. So the connecting factors are so important in coming up or determining if a particular domestic court is for a convenience. So choice of law rules is a set of rules that domestic court uses to determine appropriate legal system in the determination of a dispute of a foreign element. The court uses connecting factors to appropriate systems. So, connecting factor is anything that creates links between person, events, and transactions. They are set up using the laws of domestic forums, and their meaning is assigned based on the laws of domestic forums. So, connecting factors must be set out by the domestic court, by domestic forum, by the domestic forum, courts, or country or nation. So, it is that domestic court that comes up with the connecting factors to aid them in determining if the choice of law rules, their choice of law they are appropriate country to choose laws to apply in a particular dispute that has got foreign element. So connecting factors are so important. So every connecting factor will have attached to it a different weight depending on the subject of the law. So it depends on the laws of that country that determines these connecting factors that are used. So we've got different connecting factors that have got different ways. It depends on the laws of a domestic country or domestic forum the particular connecting factors. So exceptions to the meaning of connecting forum. So this is an exemption whereby a domestic court will not be allowed to use the connecting factors to determine if it is a choice convenience. So we have got the exemption of nationality. It's an exemption to the use of connecting factors. So we've got examples of connecting factors. And in contract matters, a place where parties do business is a connecting factor. In contract matters, a place where parties do business is a connecting factor. So this is an issue where people have entered into a contract, and the contract has been subjected to the courts of a different country. So maybe a contract was drafted in a country like England, and the issue has been brought before the courts of Kenya, or in the High Court of Kenya, Court of Appeal, uh, just within the domestic courts of Kenya. So the courts of Kenya are the domestic courts that when choosing the laws to use or to apply, they look at the connecting factor. And if it's a contract issue or issue that involves enforcement of contract, the connecting factor is the place where the parties do business. Where did they do business? That will guide them in in choosing the laws to apply, or if determining if they are forum convenience or forum non-convenience. The second connecting factor example is the law of the place where the contract was made and calls upon the use of lex loci. Where was this contract? What are the laws where this contract was made? The laws cannot, the courts of Kenya cannot apply their laws in enforcement of a contract that was made using different state laws, the laws of a different country. So the law, maybe England came up with the laws that England has got its own applicable laws in regards to contract matters. And when you apply Kenyan laws, you come up with it will kind of bring a conflict of laws, split conflict of laws. So the lex laws are so important here. The law of the place where the contract was made will guide the court in determining on whether it is forum convenient, forum or forum non-convenient. The loci contractors is also the law of the place where the contract was performed. Next loci solutionis. Next we have got next the law of domicile, next domicile, the law of nationality, next part 9, the law of the place of property, next situs, next loci the where place where the marriage is celebrated, next loci celebrationis. So like Lisa celebration is so important because we need to know where the marriage is celebrated. That will guide us in applying the laws or choosing the laws. The law of the place where the tort was committed, the law side the listing committee, the law of the forum, the forum. So that is about the choice of laws. So let us look at the law of domicile or the law of domicile. So in Kenya, the law of domicile is governed by the Domicile Act or the Domicile Act, uh, Cap 37 of the laws of Kenya. And the domicile is a creation of laws which does not confer any rights or obligation. So domicile or domicile is the creation of rights which do not confer any rights or obligations to parties. So the law of domicile assigns the most appropriate law of the person and the affair of that person. So we have got acquisition of domicile can be three ways. We have got domicile of origin, choice, and dependence. One can acquire domicile. Domicile is there where one chooses the laws to be applied to him. So one will choose these laws depending on the birth, origin, where is originating, choice, the decision that he has made. So these are laws to apply to someone, and these laws apply to someone depending on various reasons. So acquisition of domicile is upon three ways: by origin, choice, and dependence. So first by origin. So we've looked at choice of those. Now we are at domicile, and we've said that there are three ways in which one can acquire domicile: by origin, choice, and dependence. And domicile is a creation of laws which does not confer any rights or obligation. So laws can be created by way of origin according to section 3 to section 7 so of the enforcement of foreign laws. So at birth where someone acquires domicile. So it's at birth where someone acquires domicile. So we've got issues where children are born within the wedlock. Then those children who are born there will acquire the domicile of the father. Children born outside the wedlock, they acquire the domicile of the mother. And children whose parents are unknown, abandoned children, they will acquire the domicile based on the place where they are found. Where did they find these children? Did they pick them in Kenya? Then the Kenyan laws will apply. Did they were they found in Uganda? Then the Ugandan laws will apply. Were they found in um, Korea? The Korean laws will apply. Were they found in the United Kingdom? The United Kingdom laws will apply based on the place where they were found. Adopted children acquire domicile of their adopter. Where adopters are spouse, then the children acquire the domicile of the father. Section 8, the domicile of choice. This is whereby you are above 18 years and adult making a choice voluntarily to decide a place with the intention of staying there permanently. So there must be the intention to stay there permanently. And this is a decision by an adult above 18 years. You must intend to reside there permanently so that you acquire the domicile by choice. It's only acquired on the basis of intention to reside permanently. So we have got the case law of Bonival versus Bonival, B Bonival versus B Bonival, BONNEAL versus B Bonival, the place of residence. So, and we also have the case of IRC versus Bullock. And this case of IRC versus Bullock is a case whereby Bullock was a Canadian and Bullock had married an England lady. So Bullock moved from Canada to England, sorry. And Bullock wanted to stay with the wife because the wife was in England. And according to Bullock, he was saying that he's going to stay there in England with the wife, and he only get out of England after the death of the wife or if the wife died. But it was unfortunate in that the Bullock died before the wife. So Bullock expressed his intention of staying in England. So when considering the laws to be used, they look at the choice, domicile of considering the domicile of choice, they will look at the intention. If Bullock expressed his intention of staying in England or using the law or England laws to be applied to him. And according to that analysis, it is so clear that Bullock had expressed his intention of staying in England, but he just didn't know that he will die before the wife. So according to the domicile of choice, the intention is so important, and the intention to stay there permanently. Did he express the no, did he express the intention to stay there permanently? I don't think if he expressed the intention to stay there permanently. He just expressed the intention to stay with the wife, but on the basis that the wife was going to be alive. But when the wife dies, he's gonna go back to Canada. So you can abandon the domicile of choice if you abandon or fail to acquire any domicile place. So Section 10 of the Act Enforcement of Foreign Judgments in Kenya, when a person abandons the domicile of choice, they continue with that domicile until they acquire a new one, and it's the doctrine of continuity of domicile of choice. So, so under common law, when a person abandons the domicile of choice, they automatically receive their domicile of origin. When a person under common law, when a person abandons the domicile of choice, they receive the domicile of origin. The domicile that is obtained when someone is born, the domicile that is obtained at birth, the domicile that is obtained depending on the place of birth. So under common law, it was that when you abandon your domicile of choice that you have obtained after attaining the majority of age of 18 and you have intended to stay there permanently, you automatically acquire the domicile of birth. That's under common law. That's not under our laws that we are using today. So the third form of domicile is the domicile of dependency. And this is the domicile that depends on it is dependent on some particular issues, comes as a result of dependency on someone. And there are three identified dependents. Dependent here are children, women, and people who are mentally incapacitated are considered to as dependent. So this is the domicile that comes as a result of depending on someone. The domicile that comes as a result of depending on someone, where you depend on someone. So the dependents here are children, a child, they carry the domicile of dependency. A married woman acquires the domicile of the husband. A married woman is dependent on the husband. Section A, subsection 3 allows a married woman to acquire the domicile of choice, but until then, she carries the husband's domicile. So it's automatically that you acquire the domicile of origin under there where you can acquire the domicile of your husband. So that is the domicile that you have. But before you attain the domicile of choice, the domicile of choice is the domicile that you obtain according to your own decision to stay that area where your husband resides permanently and you have expressed your intention to stay there permanently. And another category of dependent is the people who are mentally incapacitated. So look at the choice of law rules in regards to contract is another thing that we're going to look at in this episode. And in Kenya, we have got no statutory provision in regards to the choice of law rules in regards to contract. We rely on common law. Common law gives us two major approaches to use in regards to the choice of law rules in contract matters. The first one is the party autonomy, and the second one is the law of the place that has most real and substantial connection. The party autonomy and the law of the place with the most real and substantial connection. These are the ones that are used in determining whether